Lower back pain tends to get to us all at some stage. Now, I'm not going into the really acute phase today, but just some simple things that you can be doing just to relieve that back pain, both just a little bit of strengthening on the floor, or you can actually be doing some stretching as well. So we'll go into that today, but just a warning, if you have numbness or tingling down a leg, or you just have severe pain down a leg, or suddenly severe pain in that back, you need to be ruled out for herniated discs. You need to be looking at whether you might have spinal stenosis, and particularly if you've had a fall and you've got an injured back after a fall, you certainly need to be looked at by health professionals so they can feel down your back and do the obvious x-rays that you would need. But today it's for somebody that may have that back kind of niggle that kind of stays there and doesn't go away. And particularly if you're standing watching sport and standing still for a period of time, your back gets a bit kind of a bit sore. Now we'll go into some simple things that you can do today. 3 simple stretching and 3 simple strengthening. Make sure always when you stretch or strengthen that you've warmed up sufficiently. So probably a 5-minute warm up. You may just kind of toddle your way, walk along your hallway and back a few times just to get the blood flowing, so you're not doing this on a cold body. So just a reminder to you, if you do get a sore back, reminding you that if you're doing a weight, this weight stays close to the body always. You don't want your arms out here. So if you've got a weight, making sure it stays close to your body, making sure that if you lift something, you push with the legs and not trying to pull it up kind of with your back. You want to push through those heels and push with your legs, not the back. We also need to warm up before we do any exercising as well. So a 5-minute warm up would be ideal. We want to make sure that as we come forward, that back, if I had a rod down here, that my shoulder blades stay back here. You do not want to be rounding out so that you end up with this rod up in the air and there's a big gap. So you want to pull those shoulder blades back. And this is how I would lift, with a nice straight or neutral back. So you're not trying to round out as we come forward. And think about that core on as we come. And that should all help when you do some strength training. We're going to look at just 3 stretches and 3 strengthening things now on the floor that you could be doing if that back is just niggling with you at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot more that we can do with the core, the glutes, all of those muscles that surround the back. But today it's just a bit of relief if you do have that niggly back. Let's have a look. Let's head down to the floor. So we're just going to be doing some stretches first. So I'm just going to be taking one leg out and one knee up and giving that knee a nice big hug in, and then changing to the other side. And we'll be taking both knees into the chest and giving them a nice hug in. Lovely. Now I usually hold underneath the knees rather than on top, because people with knee issues or sore knees, as I had once upon a time, I find that it's nicer to hold just underneath those knees, underneath. So taking those legs down, we hold our arms out to the side, and we're simply going to here take our knees over to one side. So you'll only lower those knees as far as you can while keeping this opposite shoulder down on the floor. You don't want this shoulder to come up, because then we're not getting this nice stretch into our lower back. So it's a nice stretch when you can keep that shoulder down. Great, then we're going to take these knees over to the other side. You can look the opposite way to your knees if you want. If you did want to include a bit more added stretch here, you can take this top knee and just raise it up a bit higher, but it'll do a lovely stretch through that back, making sure that that shoulder stays down on the other side. Lovely, and this is one of my favorite stretches. I think we do it just about every class I take. One foot over the other knee, and we're going to wind our hands through that lower leg and pull back. You can do this on a chair as well. You can sit on the chair, take one leg over the other leg, and then you're going to lean forward from the chair. But we're on the floor now, just pulling that knee back to where you can. You should feel a nice hip, come glute, come, yeah, kind of hip stretch there. It's a lovely stretch to take. Those hips can get very tight. And then take the other foot over the other knee, wind our hands through this lower leg and pull back towards us. That feels so, so nice. And it's a stretch I love all the time. I get just so very tight in my hips, so it's just delightful. Lovely. So now from here, we're going to come over onto our front, and we're going to take, if you think about that stick down my back, my shoulders and my hips again, think about that bar there, and we're just going to turn on our core and reach opposite arm to opposite leg. We're not trying to rotate or anything here. We're trying to hold nice and still as we take out that opposite arm to the opposite leg, reaching out, having a little look down at the floor. You don't want your head hanging down, but just holding everything and making sure that core stays on. Let's go back to the first side. Beautiful. This works that back really nicely. As I say to my clients, sometimes they feel too unstable. So if you're unstable, just start out with a hand, then a leg, and a leg. If that's too hard to take out the arms and legs, the aim is to get to the point where you can take out an arm and a leg at the same time. Lovely. So from here, we're going to go back down to the floor. We're simply going to do from here just a press down. So I want you to think about a sponge under your back, under the arch of your back, and we're simply going to squeeze that back down to the floor. So it's a little tilt of the hips, and squeeze down. Hold for up to 10 seconds, allow that to relax. So I've got the gap under there again. If you're not sure if you're doing it properly and you can get your fingers under there, you can then from there press down. So a little tilt of the hips so that we squash and flatten out that back, and that back is pressing down to the ground. I can feel my fingers really having the press pushed against them. Great, come away from there again, and let's press down again. Great, holding it for about 10 seconds. And the important thing when you press down like that is make sure you breathe at the same time. I've had clients say to me before, but I get so dizzy and faint when I do a pressing of any kind or hold, and that's because they're holding their breath. So you make sure that you breathe, do not hold your breath. And the last thing we'll do is a bridge. So simply taking those feet up close to your bottom. We're going to lift, so we're just going to press our back down again, doing that tilt of the hips. Then we're going to lift that tailbone up first. And then from there, we push through our heels and lifting those hips up where we can. I want you to think about squeezing these bottom cheeks while you're there. And then from there, we're coming down one vertebra at a time. So just rolling all the way down to you're relaxed and on the floor again. Then we'll do that little tilt under with the hips, press that back down to the floor. We're going to lift that tailbone up first, and then coming right up into the air, up off the floor, squeezing these butt cheeks nice and hard, and coming down again. So all of these exercises can be done maybe 8 times. Go through them, you can repeat them maybe 3 times. But yeah, being able to just get the basics in is great. So that when you do start adding weight, you've got a core that switches on, you've got a back that stays straight. Really important ground rules for where you're going to be down the track. Have fun with it.